Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is a very special day for me because I just logged in to see I now have 100 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who watches my videos. I really hope you find them helpful. To celebrate, I bought myself a new microphone, so hopefully I sound a little clearer now. Please do consider subscribing as it helps me to make better quality videos and I've got lots of ideas. In this video, I'm going to show you a really simple tomato soup recipe in which you can use all the tasty produce you've worked so hard to grow. Step 1. Pop the oven onto a medium to high heat. And then grab yourself a large non-stick baking tin. Next we're going to chop up either a large onion or a small handful of shallots. And a couple of cloves of garlic. We also need a couple of big handfuls of our tomatoes. Splash some oil in the bottom of your tin. And then roughly chop up your onions. It's all going to be blended together later, so don't bother chopping up finely. We're roasting all the ingredients together first to release that gorgeous roasted vegetable flavour, and it brings out a little natural sweetness. Roughly chop up the garlic too and add to the tin. A quick tip for peeling a garlic is to crush it with the flat side of your knife, which makes the skin fall off easily. Okay, clear your workspace and grab your tomatoes. We pretty much want to cover the bottom of this tin, which will give us about 3 to 4 good portions of soup. With the teeny tomatoes, leave them as they are and it's not worth your effort chopping them up. But with the larger ones, if you have them, halve them vertically and lay them in the tin with the cut side facing up. Keep going like this until you have the bottom of the tin mostly covered. Give the tin a little shake to get some oil onto the tomatoes. This will roast them a little better. Then, for some reason, I do a weird hand gesture here. I think I was saying something profound, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. Trust me though, I'm sure it was far from important. Next, add a sprinkle of paprika and pepper. And lastly, salt. I've also grabbed a red pepper from the garden, which I've chopped up and added to the mix before I forget. And a cutting of thyme to make it look a little fancy. Now put this in the oven for around 30 to 40 minutes. I was just doing the washing up while waiting for that to cook, and I just had a thought, because I do this a lot. Don't not cook this soup just because there's a few of the ingredients that you haven't got. Like me, I go through recipe books all the time, and I end up not cooking the thing because I haven't got something abstract like vanilla extract, or I haven't got a certain type of sugar. Don't not do this one if you do have only tomatoes and an onion. That's how I started doing it, and it's still delicious. I've added things like paprika, thyme. I've also added a little bit of lemon juice here and there, a little bit of sugar. I've tried a few things over the years to try and make it just as good as it can be, but it is really tasty on its own anyway. It was just a thought. If you're like me, I sometimes don't do recipes just because I haven't got the ingredient, and you shouldn't do that. You should do it and perfect it your way, what you like. We put red peppers in there. You may not like red peppers, leave them out. I put a jalapeno in it once. Yum! It was really tasty. So just try, it's such a simple recipe, just try and do your own thing. Right, I've got 13 minutes left, I'm going to finish the washing up. But I thought I'd add that because a bit of motivation for the folks. Back in a bit.
Okay, motivational speech and change in audio quality over. Take the tin out of the oven when the tomatoes start to go golden and crispy at the edges. And we don't need that time anymore. Okay, there are 2 ways to blend the soup now. It's easiest if you have a soup maker or a blender. Simply pour the mixture in. This tin has a little pouring thingy in the corner, though it doesn't stop me dropping a tomato. Using a wooden spoon, to not scratch your tin, scrape out anything which is stuck to the tin. If you don't have a blender or soup maker, a hand blender and a deep bowl will work just as well. Add around 500 millilitres of cold water if using a soup maker, or boiled water if using a blender. My soup maker has a maximum level on it, so just be careful not to overload your kitchen gadgets. Add a vegetable stock cube too if you have one. It's always a good idea to get all of the juices out of the tin too, and to do this, add a little water and slosh it around a bit. Then add this to the mix. Then lastly, blend. This soup maker has a smooth option, and I would recommend blending until the soup is smooth and creamy. These soups are going to be frozen and made into lunches to take into work. I've used plastic takeaway tubs before, which work fine, but this time I'm going to use these soup bags which we picked up. They freeze solid like this and stack really well in the freezer. You're done when the soup is looking smooth or when the soup maker has beeped at you. I would recommend running this under water sooner rather than later, or it becomes a bit of a pain to scrub it clean. You'll want to give this a little taste test to see if there's anything obviously missing, for example salt or pepper, and if so, add them now. I warn you, I'm about to play the noises I made when I tested mine, and I'm sorry in advance.
Oh my god. Right then. Oh. It's really, really good.
I'm sorry again, but it was really tasty. The last thing to do is to pour out your soup into its containers, or into a bowl and eat right away. It'll store in the freezer for ages, and I would recommend using containers which are reusable. As I said before, do be creative and add what you like to eat and remove what you don't. Apart from the oil, salt and pepper, we grew all of the ingredients for this soup, and it has made a freezer full of soups ready for the winter. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and letting me know down in the comments. If you have any tips or advice for others wanting to grow their own food, please also add those so we can all learn and grow together. Here are some other videos we've done, including how to grow tomatoes, which you may find interesting. I'll see you next time. Happy growing!